Impatience will trick you into walking away right before things start to click. You'll convince yourself, this isn't working. I need to try something else. But if you'd stay just a little bit longer, you might have seen the results you've been waiting for. That's why patience isn't optional. It's essential. Everybody wants things fast. Fast results, fast success, fast everything. But let's be honest, anything real doesn't happen overnight. If you keep chasing quick fixes, you'll just keep starting over. The truth is, growth takes time. It's patience. It's showing up over and over, even when it feels slow. And yeah, it's not always exciting, but it's the only way to actually build something that lasts. I'm excited to wrap up this 3-part series with such awesome topics like how consistency matters more than chasing trends, why patience is part of the process, and why who you become along the way is just as important as what you achieve. And if you haven't caught the first 2 videos of the series, feel free to watch them after this video. They are packed with incredible jewels like not waiting for permission and why discipline matters more than motivation. You definitely don't want to miss an upload as we are deep diving into some juicy transformational conversation. So grab your favorite poison and let's get into it. One of the biggest reasons people don't see growth is because they don't stick with anything long enough. They jump from one thing to the next. New job, new workout, new hustle, hoping this one will be the quick fix. But here's the problem. Every time you switch lanes, you're starting over at 0. And you can't build real momentum if you keep hitting reset. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not flashy, but it separates people who talk about growth from the people who actually live it. When you stick with something even through the boring parts, that's when you start stacking real progress. And here's the thing, you don't master anything by dabbling in it. You master it by showing up again and again, even when it feels repetitive. Especially when it feels repetitive. That's how you build skill. That's how you build confidence. And that's how you give yourself a chance to see results that actually last. The people who make it aren't the most talented or the most gifted, if we're being totally honest. But they are the ones who stayed. They stayed long enough for the habits to stick, long enough for the opportunities to line up, long enough for their effort to finally pay off. So if you've been chasing quick wins, ask yourself, what would happen if I just committed to the one thing and saw it all the way through? You would be surprised how much growth can happen when you stop hopping around and actually dig in. This is the part nobody wants to hear. Progress takes time. And I know that's frustrating. I know. Because we live in a culture that sells us instant everything. If it's not fast, it's not working. But growth doesn't move on your timeline. It moves on its own. When you start something new, the results are usually invisible at first. You're showing up, doing the work, putting in the reps, and nothing looks different. That's where most people quit. They think silence means failure. But really, that's just the process doing its job. Patience is what gets you through that gap between effort and results. It's what keeps you showing up when you don't have proof yet. And let me be clear, it's not passive. Patience isn't about sitting around, waiting for things to magically happen. It's active. It's saying, I know this is slow, but I'm staying committed anyway. Think about anything meaningful you built in your life. It didn't happen overnight. Relationships, skills, even confidence. Those things took time to build. And they grew because you stayed long enough to let the process take shape. Impatience will trick you into walking away right before things start to click. You'll convince yourself, this isn't working. I need to try something else. But if you'd stay just a little bit longer, you might have seen the results you've been waiting for. That's why patience isn't optional. It's essential. I want to have a really candid conversation with you about what really matters in the long game, who you become in the process. Because the growth that happens inside you is often more powerful than any result people can see on the outside. Here's the part most people overlook. Growth isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about who you become while you're working toward it. The results matter, sure. But the real win is in the identity you build, the wisdom you gain, and the resilience you develop along the way. When you stay consistent, when you keep showing up and practicing patience, you start to see yourself differently. You stop being the person who quits the minute it gets uncomfortable, and you become the person who leans in and follows through. That shift changes everything too, because once you start believing, I'm the kind of person who keeps showing up for me, your whole perspective changes. You make different choices. You stop negotiating with yourself so much. You trust yourself a little bit more. And from that place, everything else feels lighter. Let's sit with wisdom for a second. Wisdom doesn't come from looking for shortcuts. It comes from being in the work, messing up, adjusting, and getting back at it. And every season you commit to adds another layer to you. And over time, that builds a steadiness in you that doesn't shake as easily. So when everybody else is scrambling or second guessing, you can breathe and move because you've already been through it. That wisdom makes your growth sustainable. It's what allows you to not just hit a goal, but actually maintain it. Then there's resilience. The longer you stick with something, the more unshakable you become. Setbacks don't wreck you the same way they used to because you've built proof that you can handle hard things and still keep it moving. That's when resilience stops being something you try to have and starts being who you are. It's in your identity, and that's the kind of strength nobody can take from you. This is why the long game matters. If you're only in it for the quick results, you'll miss the deeper transformation happening inside you. But when you commit to the journey, when you give yourself time to grow, you end up stronger, clearer, and more grounded than when you were first starting out. So don't fall back into that start-stop cycle once this video ends. Growth doesn't come from one video or one burst of motivation. It comes from what you choose to do over and over, even on the days nobody's watching. If you walk away with anything from this video, let it be this. Stop rushing your growth. Stop expecting it to happen overnight. Just remember that you're not behind, you're in process. And that process is where the real change happens. The long game is won by showing up. That's it. You keep moving even when it's slow, even when nobody notices, even when it feels like nothing is working. Because every step you take is building something, even if you can't see it yet. And listen, there are going to be days when you feel impatient, but don't let that be the reason you stop. Tell yourself this is part of it. If I stay with it, the results will come. That's how you prove to yourself that you can keep going without needing instant proof. So when this video ends, I want you to choose one thing you can stay consistent with and stick to it. Not for a week, not just when you're hyped up, but commit to it for the long game. That's how you break out of that start-stop cycle and finally see growth that lasts. And I'll let you in on something as well. I've been working for months on creating something that goes even deeper. Every video here is meant to spark change, but I know change doesn't come from inspiration alone. It comes from having the right tools, the right structure, and the right support to keep you moving once the motivation fades. That's what I've been building behind the scenes. Something designed to meet you where you are, right? Exactly where you are, with the struggles we talk about here, whether that's consistency, self-belief, boundaries, or just feeling stuck in that cycle of starting and stopping. I've been pouring time into making sure it's practical, not just feel-good content. Something you can actually use day to day. And I'm really excited about it because I know it's going to help in ways that I just can't fully cover inside of a YouTube video. These videos will always be here to give you encouragement, but this, what I'm actually building here offline, is about giving you a foundation you can keep coming back to, something that's more solid that helps you create that lasting growth. And in the next few videos, I'm going to keep mentioning it and bring it up every now and again, but once everything drops, I will make a formal announcement in a future video. A video just popped here on your screen. This is the one I want you to watch next. Press play and I'll meet you there.